Man, what a game. Not only is this one of gaming's greatest franchises, but really, it's one of the greatest franchises in entertainment of all time, not just video games. The amount of joy that this series has brought to my own life and other people's lives around the world is comparable to any movie, any video game, any book. Really, Smash Brothers is one of the greatest of all time. It might sound corny, but Super Smash Brothers has really helped me connect with so many people, friends, and even family throughout the years that I kind of felt like I wanted to make a video about it. Just me sharing my stroll down memory lane with this amazing series of games. My introduction to the series starts with the very first game, which is
Introducing Super Smash Brothers, where all your favorite characters go toe-to-toe in one four-player star-studded slam fest, only on Nintendo 64.
Now, I don't have a lot of memories of when I was like under the age of 5, but one of the memories I still have is me getting totally destroyed in Smash 64. It's just one of those games that leaves such a lasting impression on you when you're young. That and Pepsi Man, for some reason. Well, I guess a buff blue man running from a giant can of refreshing Pepsi that'll crush him if he doesn't outrun it will leave a lasting impression. I mean, that or scar him for good, but I just have so many memories of playing Smash with my cousins while my aunt would make us cookies and stuff. That's another one of the reasons why I love Smash so much. Because apart from helping me connect with so many people in my life, I also grew up with the series, which is something that I can't say about a lot of games. See, I grew up in Venezuela, and video games there are kind of a big luxury. And you know, my family has never really been swimming in cash. Like, we were never poor, but video games is just something that was always kind of out of the budget. Which is why I played Smash at my cousin's place and not at home, because I didn't actually own a Nintendo 64 until much later in my life. Also, apart from not being able to actually buy games when I was young, I also wasn't a big gamer. Now, I was always really interested in games, but I just didn't know much about them at the time. I wasn't aware of all the gaming websites that would talk all the latest like games and rumors and reviews and stuff. All that came later. No, as a kid, I was very casual. All I knew is that video games were cool and that, hey, I loved playing them. So, only knowing a handful of games when I was little, you can see how Smash would stand out amongst the rest. I mean, I didn't even know who the characters were at the time. Besides Pikachu, I guess. So it's not like I was a fan, but just seeing all the flashing lights and cool effects just kind of burned a hole in my brain that stuck with me since that very first day of me picking up the controller and choosing the yellow rat. But you know, out of all the games in the world, I'm honestly so glad that Smash was one of my first ever gaming memories. When I was around the age of 6, I moved to the United States. This was a really crazy time in my life because, you know, I was a young kid who couldn't understand the local language but still had to attend public school. I didn't really have many friends when I first got there. I mean, I couldn't communicate with anybody. And yeah, that birthed this like sense of loneliness for a really long time when I was a kid. But you know what? When I needed a friend the most, Smash was there for me. Now, not in the way that you might be thinking though. It's not like Smash Brothers was my friend. No, Smash actually helped me make a friend. His name is Diego. And I tell you, man, this guy's like a total brother to me, man. So basically, the story goes that one day I was crazy bored and riding around in the car with my mom. I was looking for something fun to do. So my mom suggested that she could drive me to the new kid's house that had just moved close by, whose mom, my mom, had become friendly with. She told me that maybe I could make a new friend there. Of course, being a dumb kid, I scoffed at the suggestion. My mom asked me why, and I explained. I had absolutely no reason to, by the way. I was just a stupid, judgmental kid. But instead of giving up, my mom insisted that I shouldn't judge a book by its cover, and that maybe I could actually make a good friend. So I begrudgingly agreed to go. So we drive up to this kid's house, and when we get there, her mom presents me to her son, this little chubby pasty kid with glasses. After that, I sit next to my mom, he sits next to his mom, while we listen to them talk, not really interacting with each other at all. After a while, I guess he just kind of got bored and returned to his room. I also got really bored after a while. But his mom encouraged me to go to his room since she knew that he was playing video games in there. Of course, this piqued my interest, so you can imagine my surprise when I opened the door and he's playing a game I had never seen before, but instantly had flashback of playing the previous iteration in the series with my cousins. So I make small talk with Diego, meanwhile having my mind totally blown with what I was seeing on the TV, until I eventually made the classic question. You know, the one we all do when we're young. And of course he said yes, because he's a great guy. So we play. So I really got to know this kid over the first day of meeting him. And we're playing, we're laughing, we're making jokes. And I'm like, yo, this kid is actually really cool. And guess what? I have a sleepover that very same day. And the rest, well, the rest is history. Man, looking back, I was such an idiot the way I judged Diego without even knowing him. I mean, I went from thinking this kid was lame to playing Smash and having to sleep over the same day. If you get anything out of this video, I hope it's that you should always try to get out of your comfort zone and experience new things. And never make negative assumptions of the people you don't even know. And hey, you might actually make a great new friend, like I did. Eventually came the day that Brawl came out. And boy, when Brawl came out, man, that was an experience. Now, here's the thing, right? I wasn't a huge gamer before. I wasn't going on IGN and reading the latest news about the video game industry. So the most I knew is when a friend would buy a Nintendo Power and he would share something he had read. So when I find out there's a new Smash game coming out, and it's coming out for the Nintendo Wii, the new hotness at the time, this newfangled Wii machine, which Diego owned by the way. So you know we had to go to the midnight launch at GameStop. This is back when GameStop wasn't dying, by the way. Rest in peace, GameStop. Well, actually, we didn't go to the midnight launch because Diego's parents didn't like the idea of us staying up that late at a game store that was kind of far away. So we did the next best thing. We went as early as the GameStop opened. They were all lined up outside the store while we waited for the game store to open. And meanwhile, we would share all of our past experience and memories with the previous game. I'll never forget it too. There was this really nice guy that was in the line in front of us, but man, you could tell he got out of bed and went immediately to this GameStop because man, he was still in his pajamas, he had this crazy bed hair, he had flip-flops, he just didn't care. And I mean, why should he? I mean, he was about to play a new Smash game. So we finally get the game and we race back home. And we pop that sucker in and ooh baby, we start playing. Man, what an awesome experience to play that game on launch day with your best bud. And what do we play first? Of course, Subspace Emissary. It's only one of the most amazing things in video games ever. It's straight up the first Avengers in video game form. Seeing all these characters interacting with each other for the very first time was amazing. I mean, seeing Samus interact with Pikachu was like mind-breaking. It was kind of a bittersweet day though, because the day before I slept over, right? So my parents had to come pick me up, which they did. And who the hell wants to leave their friend's house when they're playing Subspace for the first time? And their fun party game all of a sudden turns into this crazy Metroidvania game, complete with insane boss fights and crazy cutscenes. But alas, I had to go, and it was really sad. I return next week. And Diego had already gotten through most of the campaign, but just having that memory of playing that game on launch day is something that will make that game special for me forever, no matter what the competitive community has to say about it. That's something I really don't care about. Some years later, I had to move back to Venezuela, and of course, say goodbye to my friends. But not just that, remember, video games are a serious luxury in Venezuela. So, when Smash Bros. 4 came out for the Wii U, I never got to play that game. It will forever hurt my soul that I never got to either own a Wii U nor play Smash 4. It's an experience that I missed out on. But you know, the special thing about Smash is that even when you can't play it, you can still form an emotional connection with it. Seeing all the trailers drop, all the reactions to said trailers was always a huge rush. When that badass trailer for Mega Man was shown, I couldn't believe how insane it looked. Reading all the news, rumors, and leaks, and sharing all that with my high school friends, and having long discussions about it with them was another great time in my life. So yeah, I never got to play Smash 4, but at least I was able to be part of the community in that sense. Now, I live in Argentina, and thankfully, video games are much more accessible here. I'm actually a Switch owner now, and Smash Ultimate is finally here. It's so fun. I mean, there's so many things you can do in that game. I've also been able to make a ton of friends online that share a common love for Smash. So it's funny, even to this day, Smash Bros is still helping me meet new people. It's something that I'm sincerely thankful with all of my heart. Thank you, Mr. Sakurai, and all of your team for making such incredible art that has allowed me to make such amazing memories throughout my life.